Listen again, folks. Here I am in my dad's garage where I've kept my pole arms. Why? Am I going to show my pole arms? No, not today. Well, not all of them. Just one. You see, last Christmas I did a video singing about how I wanted an Albion sword for Christmas. The key part is sword. You see, most people say, well, doesn't Albion only make swords? Well, if you look on their website now, they have at least 2 axes for sale. Axes? Yeah, well, when they started back in, the early 2000s, they actually did a run of axes. A very nice run of axes. And there was one I wanted that looks like the Arms and Armor Hungarian axe, pictured over here. But I didn't get that one. They sold out before I could. But the Christmas, and I don't remember what year it was, somewhere around 2001, maybe 2002, I had my mom order me an axe from Albion. So I do technically own an Albion. It's just an axe. And you say, well, I don't remember Albion making axes. They only did it for a limited time. But I contacted them recently to make sure this was indeed one of theirs. And they said, yes, absolutely. I said, well, how many of them did you make? Just out of curiosity. They don't know. It wasn't a limited run. They sold as many as were purchased. So it could have been more or less than 1,000. Who knows? But this axe is special because it's a Danish axe, but not just any Danish axe. It's a huge, huge Danish axe. Huge, huge Danish axe. You see, this edge is 18 inches. This axe is taller than me, and I'm probably about 5'11", right? Now, you can hear that ringing of that steel. They blackened it, fortunately, so it doesn't rust. I never sharpened it very much, just a little bit. And the haft I made for it is actually, I think, a handrail banister for a staircase I got at Lowe's. But if you look, I don't know if I'll be able to get this in camera very well. See, it's a very, very thin edge. So as big as this axe looks, it actually, I can hold it way out here and still chop fairly well with it. The weight of it, honestly, is, I don't know. But to me, it feels maybe like 5 pounds. I've never weighed it. I'll try to if I can get a scale to do it. But I used to own an 8-pound sledgehammer, and this is definitely a lighter head than 8 pounds. It feels a little lighter than 6-pound sledgehammers to me, but maybe. So 5, 6 pounds, somewhere in there. Now, were there Danish axes this size? There have been no finds in history this size. The biggest I know of is 11, maybe 12 inches. But if you think about this for a minute, maybe, because in 2 Icelandic sagas, one of which is the Laxdala saga, they make a reference to an axe. And I'll try to look up the reference and put it in the video. But they make an axe to someone, and someone in the story carrying an axe, they say, walked in with an axe over his shoulder. That's edge was, I think they say 2 L's in the book, but roughly 18 inches. And my copy from Penguin Books, I believe, says 18 inches. So they've translated it. But so about this size. Now, do I think they existed? Probably not. This is ridiculous. It's like halberd size. Maybe, but they would have been rare. And I think if used, you would have had to have someone in front of you bearing a shield, and you'd probably just be whack, whack, coming down on people in a shield wall. Because let me tell you, when this thing gets going, I don't think any Viking armor could stop this thing from going pretty far into you, or at least damaging you enough not to get back up. So I think it would be a very specialized weapon if it did exist. But I bought it partly because the sagas referenced one, and it was just so massive, I couldn't get my head around it in the description. I was like, 18 inches, that's freaking... So I bought it, and it came in, and yeah, it's, as you can tell, bigger than my head. I've named it the God Axe, I think for good reason. But this is actually one of the early 2000s Albion axes. The largest they've ever made, and also the largest Dane axe replica I've ever seen. Anyway, that is the only Albion I own. I don't recall how much we paid for it, but the axes that I remember were not nearly as expensive as the swords. Unhafted. They sold some of them unhafted, some hafted. This one they sold unhafted, but I think it was less, well, maybe about 100. I don't remember really, honestly, but it was surprisingly not that expensive for what it is. Anyway, that's my only Albion. That's why in the song I said I want an Albion sword for Christmas, because I still don't have one. Hey, listen, folks. Good night.